like you said, attending the conferences and attending those sessions and learning from the other people around me to really kind of grasp the industry. And I've noticed there's a lot of change, and there are still a lot of things that are not changing. The first year that I worked for Tim, the buzzword that everybody was talking about was interoperability.
Oh, yeah.
And this year, there are new AI solutions coming out saying that they will finally, 15 years later, solve interoperability. And so I look at things like that and think, we've known this is an issue for a long time in the industry. And all of these solutions that have helped, that have tried to make things easier, and now we might finally be doing that. The workforce issue is a problem. And asking people to do more in the hours that they have isn't the solution. But
Right.
bringing on technology to make their job easier so that they can do more is a better solution. And
Well,
that's one of the things we've been talking about.
we have so much more to talk about. We're done our first half. So we're at halftime here at Health Futures. We got one more half to go. We got Kristen Rowan here in the studio with us, the owner and publisher and editor and everything in between for the Rowan Report.
Control of your
Stick around.
money provides freedom. Learn how to make it, spend it, and invest it. We're Money Radio 1510 and 105.3 FM.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages are mixed in afternoon trading, with tech stocks continuing to struggle and dragging the tech-heavy Nasdaq sharply lower. Both the Nasdaq and S&P 500 are on track for their sixth straight session of losses. Financials and utilities are among the gainers today. Shares of Procter & Gamble are wavering after the consumer packaged goods company topped quarterly earnings estimates and boosted guidance, but it fell short on sales amid weakness for its baby, feminine, and family care products. And the problems keep mounting for Tesla. Its stock is down again today after the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration disclosed a recall of nearly 3,900 Cybertrucks to fix a problem with the accelerator pedal. Tesla shares have declined every day this week. The Pioneer EV maker is slated to report quarterly earnings next Tuesday. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Hey there, you and aisle 2. I see you by the fiber and laxatives. You still using those to manage your constipation with belly pain? If your symptoms keep coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. So you may need more than over-the-counter treatments to manage it. Ask your doctor about how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
How would you like to make money from a bank instead of the bank making money from you? How can you do this? This is Ference, host of the Your Personal Bank Show. We have banks that fund ongoing annual premiums into your high cash value policy that is principal guaranteed. Why would they do this? Cash is an asset and can be used as collateral. When you earn more in dividends from your policy than the interest the bank charges, you keep the difference. The difference has averaged 2 to 5% annually in your favor for the past 40 plus years. When the funds are contributed from a bank, you leverage other people's money and multiply your returns. Your average rate of return can grow to strong double digits annually within a few years. This can be done income tax-free with guarantees and no downside market risk. Contact me at yourpersonalbank.com or 866-268-4422 866-268-4422 for more information, or tune in to the Your Personal Bank Show Tuesdays at noon.
I'm Frank Miller with Your Money Now. Well, a unionization vote is taking place today at a Volkswagen plant in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Thousands of workers are casting their ballots on whether or not to join the United Auto Workers Union. Those who support unionization think that it'll help improve safety and wages. Tennessee's Governor Bill Lee, along with 5 other governors, have opposed the union. Meanwhile, Forbes is reporting that the UAW is getting approval for a union vote at 2 Mercedes-Benz plants in Alabama. And environmentalists are claiming victory after the White House says it will ban fossil fuel drilling on nearly half of the National Petroleum Reserve in Alaska. Reports say that the Interior Department will block oil drilling on more than 13 million acres in the Western Arctic, which includes public land and an underground emergency oil supply. Republicans are criticizing the latest move from the White House, claiming that the president is getting America further away from energy independence and, in turn, driving up the price of gasoline. On Wall Street, stocks are mixed as the final hour of trading gets underway. Netflix continues to weigh on the NASDAQ, and that's Your Money Now.
Moments like making my kids my famous meatballs mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Back. You're listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. I'm your host, Bob Roth. And if you're just tuning in, we're in our second half here. I've got Kristen Rowan here in the studio with me. She's the editor and owner of the Rowan Report and Gerard Marketing. And, we talked about a lot of different things in our first half. And if you missed it, go up to our website at cypresshomecare.com. Click on the media button right below its radio show and much more you can find on our website, as well as many more radio shows that we've been doing. And now, as I shared with you, we're podcasting. So, Kristen, we talked a lot about tech and innovation, and I talked a little bit about workforce. I want to pick up on this because, it's not just a problem for us in the healthcare vertical. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about the verticals that you talked about: hospice, home health, home care, hospitals. But it's affecting every single trade that we know, whether it be the hospitality trade, whether it be retail trade. We're all struggling and challenged with that. But I would love to hear, and you and I have talked, in the past, we've had some very, thoughtful conversations about, how do we solve for this? And would love to hear your thoughts on it. And, for me, you've got a good lens and a good pulse on a lot of the tech because you see it, and people use you. And I hate to use the word use, but they want to utilize the Rowan Report to get this out there, kind of like what Andy Kaboff did 25 years ago. Yeah.
So there's two pieces to that. The workforce issue is nationwide right now. Companies are struggling with finding the right people. People are struggling with people leaving their jobs, leaving the industry, whether it's because they're retiring or because they found something more lucrative or because it's just overwhelming the industry that they're in and they're looking for something different. And that's affecting people across the country. Mm-hmm. And there's a few things that we've talked about. The technology is one of them, especially in home care and home health and hospice, because there's so much paperwork and documentation and all of these things that have to be done that are not patient-centered and care-oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Can we automate that? Can we make that part of the job easier? It started years ago with voice dictation, right? You could just speak your notes into a microphone and they would translate them onto a computer and the notes would be done.
Now I do it with Siri.
And now we do it with Siri and we're doing it with different AI capabilities. But the rest of it, the data and the processing and making sure your claims are correct. There's technology that can do all of those things, and some of them are really good. And the Rowan Report has talked to a lot of these companies and talked about how they are addressing those specific solutions. And so one of the things that we recommend that people do is go to the website and go into the search bar and look for, we actually have a tab on the top of the website for product reviews that will show you all of the companies that we have talked to over the last 13 years that have a solution for specific categories. We recently redesigned the website, so there's a lot of product reviews missing, but we've also updated it.
I'm going to it right now. Wow.
So that now we did redesign it.
Wow.
But now you can actually search by multiple categories. So you can do a product review search, but also search for a specific type of product. So the search is more robust, the information is better, and you can really find a solution for your sales team. We're working with Home Care Sales to bring in some sales documentation on how to create a sales team if you need one.
Wow.
We're using marketing experts to talk about promoting your small business. We're talking to these technology companies on how to streamline the data processing so that your nurses can focus on caring for patients rather than documentation. All of these things can make it so that your nurses can do more for your patients without having to hire more people. So I think the solution right now is not more people because they're just not there, but the solution is collaboration to better utilize the people that you have.
What you're talking about is something we're going through as well. And, it really is about your workflow and really taking a lot of repetitive tasks and taking a lot of redundancy out of your workflow. And I'm talking about the administrative stuff that really bogs home care agencies and home healthcare agencies and hospice agencies and many others. Artificial intelligence is here.
It is.
It's not going away.
No.
And the genie's out of the bottle. And as much as our government wants to try to regulate it and put curbs around it, if we do that, then we're going to put ourselves at a distinct disadvantage to the foreign nations like China and Russia, who are not going to put those guardrails in. So it's really important for us to utilize this technology in the best way we can. And
interestingly, check out the Rowan Report next week, which will be coming out next Thursday. Tim is authoring 2 different articles: the right way to use AI in healthcare and the wrong way to use AI in healthcare. Right. And those will be featured next week. So obviously AI isn't going anywhere. And a lot of people have started adopting AI, but not in ways that are helpful. And sometimes not in ways that are legal. And sometimes not in ways that are most beneficial to the company. So if you really want to use AI and you want to limit some of the administrative paperwork and things to help your workforce be more efficient and more effective, read those 2 articles next week. I think he's going to have some really great insights on how to use AI in healthcare.
The Rowan Report.
The RowanReport.com. Yes. Yeah.
Rowan, ROWAN. Yeah. So no, I look forward to that. And really just, doing a deeper dive on the workflow, the man hours or woman hours, whatever, those hours that we devote to human capital can be reduced significantly. I mean, literally FTEs in whole numbers can be taken out of your organization and allow more time, especially in the healthcare field, where you can have human interactions and not be bogged down with the paperwork.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really think about it, and this is some of the stuff that we're doing, I mean, onboarding caregivers, we're utilizing a lot of automation and we're really empowering caregivers to do a lot of the work for us. And what I'm talking about is a simple application, but also uploading your certifications and your driver's license and, you know, any licenses you have. I mean, empower them to do that. And there's a phrase, and you probably know what it means, API, you know, the interface between one software to another. I mean, our enterprise software solution has a very simple one, and all that populates into my enterprise software solution, which is really slick. And certainly, you know, when a caregiver or an employee of mine says, you know, I didn't get my W-2, or, you know, I didn't get such and such in the mail, you must have the wrong address. Well, we look at it, it's the address you gave us, because we populated our entire, you know, profile on you based on what you sent to us.
Right.
So it's amazing what we can do, and we don't have to rekey that stuff in any longer.
And, you know, there's technology that can make it, in your example, that can make it so that your worker can go in and find their own W-2. There's technology that you can upload your entire company policies and regulations, and, you know, your employee doesn't have to come and say, hey, is this a company holiday? Do I get this day off? They can literally go into an AI bot that's attached to your API or through an API, and ask it, what are the company holidays? What are my insurance benefits? Where's my W-2? And it's all there. And, you know, AI has some really great solutions to help that. Outsourcing, it may not be the best, you know, a lot of people are hesitant, but there are some great companies doing outsourcing on claims.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of solutions that don't require continuing to try to hire people when there aren't the people there to work. So, you know, looking into those solutions in the long run, in order to compete with the people around you, the technology has to be there.
Well, you hear the music. Who taking us out in the third segment. This is a great song. I'm sorry we're not able to play it all the way through, but you're listening to Health Futures Taking Stock in You. Kristen Rowan here in the studio with me. Stick around. We got one more segment. We got a lot more to talk about. Be right back.
Money Radio listeners tune in to learn about wealth, but how about your health? Well, now you can have both. This is Dr. Stephen Katz, co-host of Your Health is Wealth. Each week, we'll explore a variety of common health issues, including joint pain, chronic conditions, and issues specific to men's and women's health, and reveal the latest innovations to get you feeling good again naturally. So join me, Dr. Stephen Katz, and my team from the Naturopathic Physicians Group each week for Your Health is Wealth, Fridays at 1 p.m. right here on Money Radio, 1510 a.m. and 105.3 FM.
Diamond Dave Cantor here. Do you do anything the same way you did in 1989? In 1989, you went to the library. Now you Google it. In 1989, you went to a payphone or the kitchen to make a call. Now it's in your pocket. In 1989, you wrote and mailed a letter. Now you email or text. And in 1989, you went to the mall or an old-timey jewelry store and paid full retail. Oh, wait, some of you are still doing this? In 1989, my dad sold his 22-store chain to the big guys, so I decided to use our worldwide connections and production capacity to serve clients. But in person, one-on-one, later adding online, later adding text, and later adding Instagram. Importing and working in professional offices, I turned the industry upside down and cut out 5 layers between you and the diamonds. So you can stop by Orange Julius and the arcade on your way to pay 3 to 10 times what you should at the mall or a traditional store, or you can come see me and our diamond experts and buy the right way, the new way, the Desert Wholesale Diamond Way.
Call 480-397-2450 or follow Dave on Instagram at Diamond Dave, KANTOR.
Tired of that same old spin on Washington? You want the truth? Then listen to All Right Now with me, JD Hayworth, every weekday 3 to 5 p.m. right here on Money Radio. I'll give it to you straight. I've represented you in Washington, and I've lived to tell some tales. You can get involved. Call in, text our show, and you know you'll get it right. It's All Right Now, every weekday 3 to 5 right here on Money Radio.
Now back to Health Futures. taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. Little Marshall Tucker. Man, a Friday isn't a Friday without Marshall Tucker. So thank you for playing Marshall Tucker. You're listening to Health Futures Taking Stock in You. I'm your host, Bob Roth. I forgot Kristen Gerard. I keep saying Gerard because that was your name at one point in time. So Kristen Rowan here in the studio with me. She is the owner and editor of the Rowan Report. And we've been talking a lot about this report and how important it is for the trades that we are in: home health, hospice, home care. Anything related to healthcare and innovation is really captured in your report. And, I want to really spend this last segment really kind of, gelling this with what we try to do here with this show. Our show is about how our older adult population can live a healthier, happier life. And we're not getting younger, we're getting older. And we know that, the whole baby boomer thing, 10,000 people a day are turning 65 and older. That's going to happen now for another 5 more years. And then we are all going to be 65 and older. And the fact is that the 85-year-old population between now and 2050 is going to nearly quadruple. The needs are going to grow. I really want to, talk about the synergistic, collaborative effort that the Rowan Report really being the medium that so many of us rely on can help us achieve that.
Sure. Yeah. The estimate of the number of people who will need care versus the number of people who will be available to give care within the next 15 years is
scary.
It's staggeringly overwhelming.
In Arizona, it's less than 2.
Yeah. It's
less than 2 people for every person that is needing care.
And
that's just census. That's just raw numbers.
Right.
That's not based on people in the care profession.
Right. And we
just don't have enough people behind us.
And, so there are things that we need to look out for. We need, as home care professionals, as people working in the industry, we need to maximize the ability of the workforce that we have, so that we can care for more people as they age into that population. As the children of baby boomers, which I am, we have to start looking at ways that we can become knowledgeable on caring for our parents as they get into that population. How do you choose the right home care agency? How do you choose the right home health nurse? How do you navigate Medicaid? And how do you choose between Medicare and Medicare Advantage? All of these things are things that most of us are not taught. We don't know where we should put our parents. We don't know how to care for our parents. And, there are articles in the Rowan Report and in many other publications that can help us with that. As the population that is aging, how are you preparing for that time when you might need help? And where do you put your resources? And these are all topics that we cover. As I mentioned earlier, we bring in experts from all of these different areas to talk about caring for this population as they get older. And, I'm in the next generation behind the boomers, and I'm not sure how many people there will be left to care for our generation, and, do we age at home, and how do we prepare for that? And how do we fund that? There are so many questions. One of the things that I've started doing with the Rowan Report is expanding on the topics that we talk about. We added a caring for the caregiver topic on how to make sure that we are caring for our home care workers. How do we make sure that they're not stressed out? How do we make sure that they're not overwhelmed? That they're not leaving because we're not paying attention to what they need?
Over 50 million of them are out there.
Yeah. And, so those topics are in there. How to, you and I, Bob, worked together on the article on how to start paying for aging and when we should start paying. And I was shocked, Bob, when you said that we should start saving for our retirement care at the age of 18.
Yeah.
which I don't think any of us did.
Well, I don't mean to be hyperbolic, but I mean, the cost of care is extraordinarily high.
It is.
And people don't think about it.
And I have kids that age. They should be saving
Right.
for retirement now. You know, my son is still in high school and he should be saving for retirement. You know, he doesn't even have his first job and he needs to save for retirement. And these are things that I wasn't taught,
Right.
that I didn't know. So I think there's a lot more topics that we can cover and a lot more that we can explore in how the industry will change as this population continues to age into retirement and beyond. And, you know, we need to bring in as many experts as we can find to continue to discuss these topics and really continue to advocate for what we do, this industry that we love. And if you're not in the home health industry, will you need care? Will your parents need care?
Yes.
Will your children need care?
Yes. Yes to all of those things.
You know,
Look, I so appreciate you shining a light on the long-term care planning piece that we talked about. And earlier this week was the National Healthcare Decision Day, which is helping people put their wishes down and memorialize them and, giving that gift to your family members so people know what you want when you can't speak for yourself.
And it's a difficult topic to broach. It really is. I've had that conversation with my own parents, and it's not easy, but it needs to happen. And
it does.
And there are resources out there that can help you if you're not sure how to secure your own parents' future or your own health future. There are a lot of resources available to help you navigate that. And
Health Futures, I like that.
That you like that?
Yeah, it's
you like how I worked that in?
Kind of name for our radio show podcast. So, I will say this, we can sit back and complain. We can say, woe is us, we don't have enough workers. Woe is us. The cost of care is really high. Advocacy is something that is a part of who you are and what you do. You mentioned that at the very, very beginning. And you guys do advocate for us. And when we need you to be involved with our legislators, you are involved in that. As far as the workforce piece, technology is only a part of that solution. And really the other part is that we need to bring more people into it. When I went to school, and, you're not a boomer, but maybe it was true for you as well. We had home economics, we had wood shop. We should be teaching the kids today how to become a direct care worker, how to care for someone, to do, CNA type tasks. So they have those skill sets.
Yeah.
And it's not just to go into professional, though. I will say, please come into our profession because we need you, but it's to have those soft skills to care for your loved one and be able to care for them when they're going through the fragility of life and an awful diagnosis, and they just need that care.
And as great as home health and home care is, the children and grandchildren of those people need to be aware of how to care for their family members. And
100%.
We should be training them, and there should be clinics, and there should be college classes, all of that stuff, that is needed to make sure that this industry flourishes the way that it should.
So we have about 30 seconds, just real quick. What lasting thoughts, questions I might not have asked you want to leave to our listeners?
I would say if you're in the industry and you want more information, please check out our website, www.therowanreport.com. If you're not in the industry and you have ideas, thoughts, or you need more information, contact me, contact Bob. But whatever you do and however you do it, make sure that your health future and the health futures of your family members are secure. And, it's a difficult task, but it has to get done.
Do you have a phone number you want to give out?
Yeah, absolutely. You can reach me directly at 719-963-0500 or check us out at therowanreport.com or gerardmarketinggroup.com. And thank you so much, Bob, for having me here.
Kristen Rowan, thank you for coming to the studio, being on Health Futures. I'm so glad to have had you here on their show, and make it a great day. Have a great weekend. We'll be back next Friday.
Absolutely an honor. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
There's no place like home. You've been listening to Bob Roth's Health Futures. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call Cypress Home Care Solutions at 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Or visit cypresshomecare.com. Be sure to join Health Futures with Bob Roth every Friday at noon, right here on Money Radio 1510 and 105.3 FM.
What would happen if you connect on a deeper level and build instant trust with your audience? Own any room confidently, captivate people, relationships, personal and professional, will flourish. Close new clients, patients, and customers. Your unique personal story has power. Join former NFL great, Broadway playwright, performer, and acclaimed storyteller Bo Eason in La Jolla, California, April 29th through May 1st for his Personal Story Power event. Reserve your seat at boeason.com/join event.
We're completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
Or your teen's music taste.
For dinners where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad
The
Council.
station that talks about your money. Money Radio 1510.